we're continuing our coverage of the Supreme Court ruling right now. I'm joined by Dr. Cayce Meyers from Virginia Tech. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Appreciate that. So let's just, for people having a hard time unbundling this at home, what does this ruling actually mean to somebody?
Well, it means that Virginia can continue to daily look at voter rolls, cross them with the DMV information that they have to determine the eligibility of voters based on their immigration status. So non-citizens cannot vote, citizens can vote. And if there's a question about non-citizens, they are removed from the voter rolls, and there is a measure for them to get back on. And of course, there's also same-day registration if they think there is an error, and they can cast a provisional ballot.
Right. And one of the things is you're not supposed to change this rule within 90 days of the election. But it was changed within that 90-day period. So some of the courts looked at it and said, well, it's not about whether or not you can block somebody, it's about the 90 days, right?
Right. So the 90-day rule is really about systematic versus individualized review. So systematic review is looking at everyone. Individualized is looking at individual people's status. And what the state of Virginia has argued is that it's individualized. It looks at someone's status as a citizen or non-citizen. And the critics have, and the Department of Justice have said that is systematic, which violates the 90-day rule. So that's really kind of the case before the Supreme Court and how they were analyzing this issue.
Now, as I understand it, right now we're only talking about 1,600 or so people, right, that have been blocked. So when you look at the whole state of Virginia and everybody who's voting, I mean, it could come down to 2 votes or 100 votes or something like that. You might say, wow, those 1,600 people were important. So I don't want to disregard that. But when you look at it statistically, it's not a significant number of people, is it?
Right. When you're looking at a state like Virginia, which is not a swing state, as been classified, right, the outcome is probably marginal, if anything, if you're talking about 1,600 people. But I think what the bigger issue here is the precedent, and the precedent of how you can analyze voter rolls, how this federal law works into certain states, and how they are looking at voter registration and voter rolls in general. And we have other states that are kind of doing the same thing as Virginia. And so this may set a wider precedent, and I think it's going to be an ongoing legal issue.
So the other thing is that we want people to know that let's say you go to the DMV, you fill out the form, there's a box that says I'm a citizen, you have to check it, right? So somebody is a citizen, but they forgot to check the box. Going by this system, they could be excluded from being able to vote. But they can go and fix that on Election Day and still vote on Election Day, correct?
Absolutely. So
yeah,
there's measures there's stopgap measures for you to challenge being purged from the voter roll. And really there's kind of 2 categories here. There's people that maybe their immigration status changed from non-citizen to citizen after they did the DMV registration, or it just kind of checked the wrong box or didn't check the box or whatever through an error. And so there are these measures that you can get back on, and as well as same-day registration that we have in Virginia.
Okay, Dr. Cayce Meyers from Virginia Tech. Appreciate you teach common law, so you know what you're talking
Yes.
about here, right? We appreciate you joining us here today.
Thank you.
Okay.